Hi, thanks for coming over today. You wanted to study, right? Okay. Let me go get my materials, and you can just take a seat, and then we can start. So I have the notes from class. Let me grab my computer too. Notes. Okay. Right. And you said you missed the last class? Yeah, okay. Let me turn on my computer. And so what was the topic there? It was personality? Okay. Yeah, we can go over that for sure. I can just kind of share the notes with you if that's okay. Alright, let me know when you're ready. Alright. Ready? Okay. So I just have them here written, but I also put them on my computer, so I can kind of just read them to you if you want. Is that okay? Okay. So yeah, it was personality, and it's the psychological qualities that bring a consistency to an individual's thoughts and behaviors in different situations and at different times. So it's the one thing that he really wanted us to know was that it's continuously changing, and it's shaped by our individual needs and cognitions and by external pressures from the social environment. So it's always changing. He said that was really important. Yeah, I can repeat it. So personality is a continuously changing process shaped by our individual needs and cognitions and by external pressures from the social environment. Got it? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Are you ready for the next topic? Yeah. Okay. So the next topic was the ID, and it's in Freud's model. The ID is the primitive unconscious reservoir that houses the basic motives, drives, and instinctive desires that determine our personalities. So it always acts on impulse and seeks immediate pleasure, and it's the only part of the personality present at birth. Yeah, that's the ID. It's the unconscious reservoir that houses the basic motives, drives, and our instinctive desires. And it's present at birth. Okay, let me just pull up a little bit more about this from my notes here. Okay. Yeah, so it always acts on impulse, and it wants immediate pleasure. Yeah, I said at birth. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. This one. Okay, so yeah, we talked a lot about social cognitive perspective. Did you want to know more about that? Okay, yeah. All right, are you ready? So it's where, it has a lot of research, whereas a lot of other theories don't have a ton of research. So social cognitive theories have a lot of research. And the most well-known is the observational learning by Albert Bandura. Yeah, I would write that down. Okay, so what's observational learning? So observational learning is just learning new responses by watching others' behaviors. So when you're like a kid, you watch your parents and you learn from them, or maybe you watch a teacher and you learn from them. So it's the learned behavior patterns, and it involves an ongoing relationship between the individual and environment. So it's the behavior, environment, and your cognitive, the way you think, and just the biological things that happen to you. Does that make sense? Sorry if I'm going too fast. Okay, so another thing that we talked about was social cognitive perspective. So we talked about the locus of control. You've heard of that, okay. So the locus of control is just our sense of controlling our environments rather than feeling helpless. So you control it. You don't feel helpless, nothing else is in control. That's kind of what it is. There's an external locus of control. And that's the perception that chance or outside forces beyond one's personal control determines what fate. So external is you don't have control. And then there's also internal, which is that you control your own fate. So that's social cognitive perspective, and external and internal. Got it? Okay. Let me just make note of that. Okay. And then learned helplessness is something else that we talked about in class. So it's the hopelessness and passive resignation an animal or human learns when unable to avoid repeated adverse events. So yeah, I have a chart of it that I kind of want to go through with you because I think we might talk about that. So it's when you have an uncontrollable bad event and then you perceive that you don't lack any control, and then you generalize that you don't have any control, and that you kind of just think that everything is an external control. You have no control, so everything else is just passive, and you're just kind of like, oh, everything bad's gonna happen. I can't even help myself, so you lose that internal. Does that make sense? Okay. I think we went over this. Yeah, it's not too hard. It's just kind of remembering the people on the test and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. I think we should also talk about the ego and the ego defense. So we went through that. Let me pull up my notes here. Okay, are you ready? So the ego is just kind of the regulating conflict between your identity and the superego. Is the job of the ego, the conscious rational part of the mind. So the ego must figure out a way to satisfy one's desires while not violating one's moral code. So when this balance becomes upset, conflicted thoughts and behaviors may signify a mental disorder, and a mental disorder may be the result. So when your ego isn't lining up with your morals, you could develop a mental disorder, which is what they're saying. And then, so another thing about this is the ego defense. So ego defense is a largely unconscious mental strategy to reduce anxiety or conflict. So something called repression. Yeah, write this down. So repression is the ego defense that excludes unacceptable or inappropriate thoughts and feelings from our awareness. A complete list of ego defenses is on page 416 in our book. So you have to be able to identify all those he said on the test. I don't have them with me today, but next time we come over, if you want to go over the ego defenses, we can definitely do that. Yeah, okay. Let me check my notes to see if there's anything else that we really need to go over today. Yeah, let's go over these definitions. So trait is a characteristic pattern of behavior, and it's a disposition to feel and act as assessed by self-report inventories and peer reports. Repeat that. Okay, yeah, sure. So trait is a characteristic pattern of behavior, And it's a disposition to feel and act assessed by self-report inventories and peer reports. Makes sense, okay. And then another thing that you're going to want to take note for is, are you ready? Yeah, just let me know if I'm going too fast, I'm sorry. Sometimes my brain kind of rambles. Personality inventory, which is a questionnaire, often with true, false, or disagree items, to which people respond to items designed to gauge a wide range of feelings and behaviors, and it's used to assess selected personality traits. Yeah, so some of those traits are just anxious, rigorous, sober, pessimistic, restless, aggressive, impulsive, optimistic, active, social, outgoing, talkative, responsive, easygoing, lively, carefree, leadership, even temper, peaceful, thoughtful, controllable, reliable, calm, quiet, unsociable, pessimistic. Yeah, so kind of like the introvert ones, where you might be unstable, would be moody, anxious, righteous, sober, pessimistic, unsociable, and quiet. And then the introvert ones where you're stable would be like passive, careful, thoughtful, peaceful, controllable, reliable, even-tempered, and calm. And then the unstable extrovert would be restless, aggressive, excitable, changeable, impulsive, optimist, active. And then the stable extrovert would be social, outgoing, talkative, responsive, easygoing, lively, carefree, and leadership. Yeah, so it's just kind of like the axis. Let me email you that chart so you can see it. So the trait perspective, and it's Hans and Sybil Eisenick, and they use the two ways to describe. So it's introvert and extrovert, and then unstable and stable. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see if there's anything else that I really think you should go over. Oh, I would definitely look at Freud's psychosexual stages. It's oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. Yeah, so it's oral is 0 to 18 months. Anal is 18 to 36 months. And phallic is 3 to 6 years. Latency is 6 to puberty. And genital is puberty and on. Yeah, I can go over kind of the focus of those stages. So oral from 0 to 18 months is pleasure centers on the mouth, so it's sucking, biting, chewing, things like that. And anal is pleasure, focuses on bowel and bladder elimination, so coping with demands for control also, and that's 18 to 36 months. Phallic is from 3 to 6 years old, and that's the pleasure zone, and the genitals coping with just new sexual feelings. And then latency was 6 to puberty, which is dormant sex feelings, and then genitals puberty on, and it's maturation of sexual interest. And the professor also said that. Let me find my notes here. Freud is very controversial, so he's very controversial, and many of his colleagues broke away from his view, but still maintained a psychodynamic aspect to their theories. So like Alfred Adler, he saw the importance of childhood social tension, and Karen Horney sought to balance his masculine biases. And then Carl Jung emphasized the collective unconscious concept of a shared inherited reservoir of memory traces from our species history. Why was he criticized? So he's still really popular, but like many concepts like libido and repression are vague, they say, and it focuses only on retrospective explanation. It only looks back and doesn't give credit to the present or future. And they didn't give any thought to women. So, yeah. Do you have any other questions or anything? No? Okay. Well, thank you for coming over. I hope that I helped you today. And if you ever miss another lecture, let me know and we can definitely go over our notes together. All right.